Alright, so I gave you this file. It's an example. Only an example. If I look at its structure, what it started out to be was I had this. And I was like, well, I have this image laying around. Maybe I want to do something with it and turn it into a vector illustration. So I can zoom in and I see, yeah, because it's raster, it's going to lose that information as long as it's a big document. It is. It's huge. It's like 23 by 35 or something like that. But what I wanted to do is have a nice clear illustration that I could put on smaller designs. So I went in and I laid down my flats and my outlines, and then I did a live paint in between them. So if I can take this for example, I could take and live paint, and I got some color set out. They're all spots right now. And obviously my plan here is to print this digitally, where I wouldn't have that many spots, or I'd be sitting there making spots forever. I can turn those into process colors pretty easy. But if I have like this color for example, and I want a brighter color of that color, here under color I can choose something a little bit less, then hit a new color, and then now if I'm on that layer and it's unlocked, I can now go in there and maybe take these and quickly color the hair a different color. Just like that. Very cool. Also, I have something set up so it's shading that information. I got some highlights out there. And then I got a layer that just handles the skin, because I like being able to handle the skin on a different layer altogether. So it doesn't look good now because I changed the hair color, but yeah, you get the idea. Change that back. There we go. So that's what the vector illustration looks like with the hair color the other way. Now I mix raster and vector together because the background is actually still raster. Maybe I'll turn that into vector too. But what I wanted to do is have it separated from the background too, so I can actually use just this as part of my illustration, the clouds and her. And if I choose to put a background in, I can maybe live trace the background. I did that in this example. Or I can keep it raster. So for background, you could probably get away with live tracing it. It's one of those things. But for the illustration itself, I would highly suggest not doing that. I would just say, just in this area, these are the ones that you want to take the most time at, and do them in shapes, filled in shapes. Alright, so your assignment is this. You will take 2 old world paintings and turn them into vector illustrations. You know the feathering techniques, you know how to draw lines, you know how to do it, everything else, so you're going to turn them into vector illustrations. Take, for example, if I go on the internet right now and look at something like, I'll go to Google. The screen. If I do some image search for it, I can see I can find some really, really high quality ones. And this would be a perfect example of something that I would want to turn into a vector illustration. and I want it turned in with very nice lines, comic book style. Don't do a live trace on this. I will find out. Okay? So I'm going to limit it to that. I'm going to say you are not allowed to use live trace for this assignment. That way you are forced to use Illustrator. Too many times have I seen students get hung up on Photoshop and the use thereof. Now you are not allowed to use Photoshop. You can only use Illustrator for this assignment. So find a painting. I got tons of books in the back with all kinds of paintings in high-res TIFF images that we've bought the open source versions for. So if you want to use one of those, they're in TIFF format, just say, Jason, I need those paintings. And I'll give you the painting disc. And in fact, I'll probably put the paintings on our server somewhere, so I will have that ready for you. All right, now that's it. Enjoy your assignment. Again, that's 2 vector illustrations. Again, for anything that you produce vector, I want 2 variations. I want your saved version for the internet, and I also want your AI file. By now, I've worked out a very good naming convention for places to put stuff on the server. So look at the assignment number of this. It is going to be under Advanced Graphics 0232. So somewhere on the server I'm going to have a turn-in bin. Make sure your vector illustration is first name, last name within that bin. Alright, so enjoy.